Hi folks, I've got a lovely show for you today. Let's take a look at what we got. So first of all, I've got a couple things. I've got this recipe to this cancer cure beverage. Pull this photo up. And these are the ingredients. I use cocoa, turmeric, cinnamon, coconut oil, pepper, and honey. And I also sometimes add a little bit of thieves oil to that. Let's see, I think this is a movie. Hello there, folks. I'm going to be making a coffee. To a 16 ounce. And turn the light on here. So these are the ingredients for my cancer beverage. Turmeric coffee. Turmeric, you do a tablespoon of turmeric, tablespoon of coconut oil, a tablespoon of cocoa, tablespoon of honey. And then I do about a teaspoon of cinnamon and a dash of pepper. Oh, and I also use a little bit of thieves oil. During the cold season, I'll add a drop of the thieves oil. I don't know what I did with it, but anyways, this little concoction I used to make for my husband every morning. It's an anti-inflammatory. It's also a great cancer preventer. Anti-inflammatory, so it helps with arthritis and other stuff. So it's very good for you. Today I am not doing the turmeric. I'm just going to do a mocha, simple mocha. No, I might spoil myself today and do a Reese's Snickers. Yeah, I think I'll spoil myself today. This is a little bit of a indulgence. And this is just cocoa powder, and I use a raw sugar called Zilka brand, Zilka sugar, and it doesn't have any corny additive ingredients that bother me. A lot of sugars and products have a lot of additives that I react with. Allergies suck. But yeah. So just stirring up the cocoa, sugar, and peanut butter, and then the shot. And I might pull another shot because so I bought this whipping cream, which I have a whipped cream container. One of those
I'm bored already.
ones with CO2 that you.
Okay, so this was yesterday, and I was feeling a little bit sad yesterday, so that was why I kind of spoiled myself on the coffee. But I then decided I wanted to do some. Oh, and by the way, update on the bunny. The bunny is alive and kicking still. Here she is. We found her yesterday. We weren't able to catch her out of the yard, but she is jumping around in the yard, and we saw her again this morning. So, you know, at least she's still alive, and our prayers are answered so far that she's not getting eaten by the animals. Okay, so anyways, I went out just to try to take some pictures of the sun, and I was very pleasantly surprised to see a phenomena in the sky. So when I first got out there, my son tells me, Mom, a plane did that. And he was talking about this cloud right here. And so I was like, oh, and so I did look.
It's so hot out there still.
Yeah. Did you catch the bunny yet?
No.
No? Where's she at? You don't even know where she's at?
We're running, but probably at the spot where we thought she was dead at. Maybe.
Okay, we'll go look for her and make sure she's got water in her water bottle.
Oh, I'm so sweating right out.
We'll go outside and go play. It's a lot cooler out there than it is in here. Anyways, so my son tells me a plane did that. And I go, oh, really? He goes, yeah. And there was this one here that was coming straight across, and then this one here that was coming straight across. And then there was, I think, this one here that was going this way. I took a couple videos, so but this is when I started noticing this halo here, just where the clouds were. See, it doesn't, you can't see the halo in the blue sky around it. You only see it where the clouds are. See, there's a little bit of close. See, there's my kids playing. And it was so bright that I could hardly see. It was so bright I could hardly see, like, it was making my eyes, like, not see very well because it was so bright. So then I was sitting there and noticed that, see, this cloud like spread out and it ended up covering this whole area. And then I could see this whole halo, and you could see it with your bare eyes, but it was just so bright. So the sun was so bright, and it was making like all of the clouds just shine, you know. So we're at the ocean, and so there's a lot of reflection going on the water, because one thing that I've noticed is wherever the pictures are with the crazy sun halos, they're usually at the snow where there's like a ton of light reflecting off of the ground. So and then I saw another there's another flat earth guy who I saw him taking videos of his sun, and he said, look, so you were starting to see the just the edge of the halo, so just around like the edge on the sides. And he said, watch, here in just a few minutes they're going to send planes to go do contrails to basically make clouds to cover up where that halo is. And sure enough, these planes come, and he says this happens every day. These planes come through and cover up where they're seeing this halo. So I just thought that was interesting. I I thought that was interesting. And then I was watching a Rob Skiba video today too, where he showed a bunch of declassified Russian documents that they were testing the brightness of the firmament. And, you know, it was really interesting because they were testing it off, you know, so far off of like, you know, based on geometry, like it was very interesting. Like there was multiple studies done on the firmament and the brightness of the firmament. Um, so, yeah, just all really interesting stuff. And then it kind of looks like I couldn't see this while I was looking through my camera and I was outside yesterday. All I could see was this bright line here. And I was like, wow, there's a halo. But today, I mean, this looks a little bit reddish on my computer. Like that actually could be a rainbow under there. But the weird thing is it didn't show up until the cloud cover, you know, which if the clouds have water in it, I mean, that's how a rainbow happens. The rainbow is always there. All it needs is basically a screen to make it visible to you. That's why you can, you know, spray your hose and make a fine mist and see rainbows through that, right? And it's shaped the same way. So I do believe the rainbow is the light, basically like the Pink Floyd, you know, album. It's like the light going through a crystalline object and shining itself in the shape of whatever it's shining through. So if you do it through a triangle, like the Pink Floyd album, you're going to get a straight because it's coming through a straight crystalline object that's coming through a triangle, right? So if you take it and shine it through a cup, it's going to give you a curved because it's shining through a curved crystalline object. So, and then the double rainbow is proof to me of the waters above because you only see an inverted rainbow. So with the opposite, you only see an inverted rainbow on a reflection. So when you see a rainbow in the sky and the reflection of that over water, you're going to see an inverted rainbow as on the water because the water is the reflection. Well, if you see a double rainbow, the top rainbow is inverted. It has to be a reflection. It has to be a reflection. So, I mean, that to me is just proof of this firmament that they're talking about. But anyways, I think if the clouds being there and the moisture being in the clouds was part of what was letting us see this halo from the firmament, well, that's hilarious to me. I mean, look at that. It's just gorgeous. These photos. This was taken with the Nikon P1000. Trying to get a close-up of like where this ridge was. See, now you can't, now that it's kind of clouded in, you can't even see any kind of reddish tint. It just, and you can't really see this. Like with the naked eye, it's so bright that you wouldn't have, I probably wouldn't have even noticed that there was a halo there unless I had been like specifically trying to take pictures of the sun. And I will show you, I've got some pictures of the moon. I was going to try to show you one of these videos. Play with MPC HC. I don't know. We'll try this one because it was first.
Lots of crows.
Bunch of crows.
Oh,
Where did they all go?
that was the crows video. Oh, where's the picture of the contrails? Here we go. This is just to show you guys that they really were doing contrails that day. So this is in between the video and my photos. Yeah, let's zoom on in. And he had this going all the way. across the sky, turning into clouds. So yeah, anybody know what kind of plane that is? It's putting contrails through over the west coast. They were flying north up the coast too. So anyways, there's proof that they were contrailing us. You know, it's just very interesting to see how everything's connected. And I was going to show you a picture of my yummy coffee and biscotti. Ooh, doesn't that look delicious? And here's our Neanderthal ancestors. I have this set up in my coffee shop. Look how much bigger we used to be. He was probably a puny guy. I just found out that the Bible says that Adam was like 60 feet tall, which is like literally as big as a tree. Pretty cool, huh? Here's this. I was trying to make this my photo for the main thumbnail, but they said it was too big. All this computer stuff, blah, blah, blah. But you can snap a picture of it and write a recipe on there. Here's just some pictures I took of my machine. Thought you guys might appreciate. Coffee shop, coffee shop. Okay, so now I was going to show you pictures of the moon. Now, I do not have a tripod yet, so I haven't been able to get very clear shots of the moon or stars. Well, I mean, this is still totally an amazing photo. Let me blow it up. Look at that! I've never been able to capture such an awesome image of the moon. Never. I've never had this nice of a camera. Well, I've had nice cameras, but this lens is something else. All right, let's look through these moon pics. You know, I was just tripping out on how gorgeous it was. My kids thought they were really cool. Now, I could not get images of the stars. This was one of the stars, the bright star, which actually could be a planet because it wasn't twinkling. And I believe that the not the planet, what they've renamed the wandering stars. That was another trying to get that star. But this was the sun right before it went down, which I just thought was so cool. So cool. It looked like fire coming through the sky. And yeah, I was kind of bummed. We went over to very close to where we live to see if, because we're right on the bay. So the bay is actually right here. And then there's this dune area where there's a bunch of dunes, and then the ocean is beyond that. Anyways, I went over there to hopefully see the sunset off the ocean, but this stupid patch of trees, here I'll show you, was in the way.
Mom, our pool has a bigger pool now.
The pool has a hole?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Now it's just going to be our little lake pool.
Well, yeah.
Like a water system lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like put now plastic over it, and a little tiny hole for the hose to go through.
Yeah.
And when we're playing in the sand.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, but
Like it.
I don't know what kind of plastic we can use. The other plastic you have to use.
Yeah. I don't know. Don't do this big project right now, though. All right, so here you can see where the bay is right here, and you can see the ocean over this direction where it doesn't have this big pile of trees growing. I did take a video. Here's my video. I think this is
Molly, please stay up here.
Guys, it looks like it makes down here. Molly,
There's the mail.
That's across the bay. I needed to get a tripod though because it was terribly hard to hold it steady,
Yeah,
especially when zooming out. So
it's beautiful.
once I get my tripod, see right there is where the sun's going to be setting, and it's just over those trees. Darn it! So we'll have to find a new spot to try to get video of the sun setting. Because I want to be honest about. I want to be honest about the information that I find, and I want to do the scientific tests myself because, oddly enough, there's like a ton of really terrible flat earth information out there. Terrible. That's not anything that anybody believes. So I'm determined to find out for myself. What's true and what's not, and what's visible and what's not. Yeah, I've got a few spots I'm trying to be able to see from the shore. There's a buoy that's 8 miles out, and so that'll be our next test experiment. We just were seeing what we could see from right around our house, and it's amazing how when you ask for truth and you're truly open to the truth, even if it goes against what you were taught, it's amazing how the Lord just reveals things to you and gives you these little ta-da with your natural observable world. So anyways, I think that was it for my oh, and one more thing about the moon. So I wasn't able to see the eclipse, which was just like 2 days ago, I believe. I was out there looking, but we unfortunately had complete cloud cover and couldn't see a thing the entire time of the eclipse. But I did go and viewed one of the streaming videos of the eclipse, and the moon was actually my first sort of like foot in the water of the corruption and lies and the deception that it is the space program. Just upon pretty basic, simple research into moon phases, because I was just curious about moon phases. I wanted to learn about the moon phases, and once I started looking at the moon, like some of the science really didn't make sense. And, I'll tell you here, that's a slippery slope, because that's actually what led me to the scientific evidence that seems to prove a level and non-rotating geocentric Earth with the sun and the moon rotating around us. And I can show you that video with the documents that I was just watching, I think. I'll have to find it. But anyways, as you and you can do this for yourself, go and take a look at the eclipse, and you'll see that like the shadow comes from one direction right? From side to side. So the shadow comes over the moon in one direction. And then as it leaves, the shadow goes up. So, you know, the lunar eclipse and the crazy thing about this is like the heliocentric model does not explain the lunar eclipse at all. In fact, if you go to NASA, if you go look at some of these NASA models and the way that they explain the penumbra and the umbra shadows, which is supposedly how the lunar eclipse works, like it literally doesn't make any sense. If you actually compare the solar eclipses and the lunar eclipses and how they work, it like literally doesn't make any sense. The penumbra, here, let me go to my history because which video was it? It must have been in the Rob Skiba one because this. So, okay, here's the Founded Earth documents, more declassified firmament documents. This is the one that talks all about the brightness of the firmament, which is the one that the Russians were. Founded Earth Brothers is the name of the channel. That's a really good one. And then I did not even watch that. I don't even know how this stuff got on my. Oh, and I'm gonna go ahead and play this one too because this is a great video.
If nobody buys these turkeys, Frank can't spend tens of thousands of dollars in keeping the breed alive for next year unless.
Look, we about to crash the whole damn narrative. Fuck the lockdown, shutdowns, mass order. Disobey the state and slave no longer. I'ma live my life as I wish, mass free. I will not be silenced in the face of tyranny. Fuck the lockdown, shutdowns, mass order. Disobey the state and slave no longer. I'ma live my life as I wish, mass free. I will not be silenced in the face of tyranny. 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years later, they be killing grandma, cytokine ventilators, Cuomo nursing homes, New York Holocaust. Trying to celebrate his book, pack his ass in a box. 100 million kids starving every day now. Karen's on Facebook, it's just shots, wow. Caring about the deaths only if it's elderly. Million kids starving just ain't a tragedy. Little Tony's lying on the TV. No mask, 2 masks, makes it up, you see. Carrie Mullis had it right the whole damn time. Fauci just a bureaucratic leech puppet mime. CDC reporting 1,000 new deaths. Now is that causation or just a positive test? The reason why they lie with half-truth omission is their mission is control, not honest disposition. They don't want you investigating PCR cycle, how a 35 plus make the data trifle. They don't want you messing with their masking narrative. Bandana scarf, piece of cloth, long as your muzzle sits. Got you gaslit, wearing masks for 3 seconds just to sit. Eating good next to others, slurp banana split. Look around, think about it, let me ask you how a virus not spreading just because there's food around. Make you crazy thinking you'll be sick if you're out. Hiding facts that sinking deep get sickness down. Killing children under lies that they super spreaders too. They wanna get the use, used to living in a zoo. Don't get me started on the unexpected deaths. The spike in suicides, heart attacks and cancer spreads. What you think was gonna happen when they shut down? A whole nation living in fear, all alone. 2020, 26 pounds later. Obesity and epidemic, but hey, you got a sticker and a donut for showing that you go nuts for a shot while ignoring your gut and the blood clots. I mean, how you gonna act like you're helping out anyone. Sitting at home, tweeting out selfies with a stay home, save lives frame. You ain't doing jack shit. You just a bitch, bro.
Prison, bitch.
Fuck the lockdown, shutdowns, mass order. Disobey the state and slave no longer. I'ma live my life as I wish, mask free. I will not be silenced in the face of tyranny. Fuck the lockdown, shutdowns, mass order. Disobey the state and slave no longer. I'ma live my life as I wish, mask free. I will not be silenced in the face of tyranny. You can run, you can hide, but you can't escape. Data points showing CNN is fake. Fake news. If it wasn't for the ratings, they'd be telling different, scaring you with climate change, mass shootings, race division. The divide between case and infection rate demonstrates that the danger source always was a state of virus made to enslave. Police states, vaccine passports, then repopulate. Fuck the lockdown, shutdowns, mass order. Disobey the state and slave no longer. I'ma live my life as I wish, mask free. I will not be silenced in the face of tyranny. That's right, you gotta take your life back. They won't give it back to you. They want you enslaved and impoverished. Work together, strive together. Resist the new world order.
Yeah. Oh gosh, had to share that. Don't get sand all over the house, Molly. Oh man. Oh, where is that other video? I wanted to show you the Eclipse video, because that just really has me scratching my head.
Mom, look.
Yeah.
Because the whole of my face
Oh,
is that.
that's funny. Oh, here we go. I think this. You know, it must have been, maybe it was the Planet Earth Brothers, or no, wait. Sorry if I'm boring you guys. Oh, here's one they did of me, this guy Everett Anderson. They try to make fun of me and say that what I said never happened, which was this is the firmament video that I did. Which is hilarious because it's all verifiable. In fact, in that Rob Skiba video, you'll see he actually verifies all of, and he tells you all. See, I don't really care. If you don't want to believe me or anything I say, then why are you watching me? You don't need to waste your time. I'm not going to give you a bunch of information to convince you, because I've already been convinced, and I'm just like documenting my experience basically.
These were from,
Oh, nice.
what's her name? Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, yeah.
And this from Shireen.
But this Rob Skiba video, which I don't understand why I can't find it. I'm gonna just go to him and try to find the video that I was watching. What are you doing, Molly?
I was like, watching you.
Yeah.
Why?
You like watching all my flat earth videos with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, it's very interesting because these people who were making fun of me, it was like, this is what, so teaching your kids the Torah is what the Jewish people would do. For your first 5 years of life, you would learn and memorize the first 5 books of the Bible, or maybe it was till you were 7. And that's all they did. And then at 7, they would decide based on that, they would decide whether you were going to go on to be in the priesthood or if you were going to go into the family trade. So, I have basically taken, and I want to follow the Torah and its teachings and teach my kids God's Yah's way. And so we're going back to basically the Torah and teaching them these very basic things about cosmology. And, you know, it's really, I don't understand why people have told me like I should have my kids taken away for teaching them that the earth is flat. Yet all the scientific evidence seems to point to the fact that the earth is level and non-rotating, geocentric, that everything spins around us. But I'm the one that's being abusive parent, somehow teaching them to be kind, loving, all the things that the Torah teaches, to do good, to not go into debt, to not make promises, to not speak ill or be around those that speak ill. So that's, you know, the whole scripture is what the education I'm trying to give my kids, which if you read just the book of Proverbs, that book promises that the reader will become wise if they read it. So it doesn't make any logical sense to me why teaching your kids the Holy Scriptures as a foundational education is any kind of problem with the world.
Are you trying to look what we just watched?
Yeah, I'm not able to find it. I don't know. Maybe I'll find it again. It was a pretty cool.
How about you do the arrow? Probably was to do it.
It was really cool. No, it was. Oh, I remember. I remember why I'm not finding it, because I watched it on my phone. Let's see here. I'm gonna make this bigger.
Coda took a second bath in the pool. Why did you have to do that?
What?
They took a second bath in the pool.
Okay. Where's my phone at? Oh, here.
Look what I got on.
So on this one, I got the Flat Earth app because it's really hard to find flat Earth information that's not totally bogus, because the algorithms literally try to teach lies. So, so I got the Flat Earth app, even though I think Dave is kind of, I don't know, he's very intelligent, but I don't think, where is it? It's under, maybe it's under short Flat Earth videos. No, this is not it. Where is... Oh, here we go. Eclipses. Finally. Total eclipse of the mud. Okay. Mitchell from Australia. Great, guys. Let me go back to this. Where's my... Mitchell from Australia. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Cool. I'm gonna subscribe
Yeah,
to
but
this
you-
guy.
To this guy.
So Mitchell from Australia has one. This looks like a cool channel.
Ollie, come on. 1 second.
Just gonna watch the eclipse.
Oh, that's flying that Eclipse, Eclipse.
Can't predict eclipses. Might be an old one.
Come on. 1 second, I said. Come on.
Oh, here it is. Okay, so we're gonna watch this video together. She wants to watch.
It's time to be grateful for what matters. I'm most grateful for you.
I want it, I got it. What happened wasn't real. It was just a moment. See it?
I'm Mitchell from Australia, and this is the May 26th, 2021 total lunar eclipse, as predicted by the globe model. But there's just one problem. There was no total lunar eclipse.
Stop, you guys.
This is all anyone saw. A partial lunar eclipse. I live streamed this celestial event,
You guys
expecting
are
to
so
see
distracted.
a blood red moon, a total lunar eclipse, as predicted by the globe model. But I was sadly disappointed, along with millions of other viewers that night,
Stop it.
because we only got a partial lunar eclipse. I checked with timeanddate.com. I was
Stop.
in the right area at the right time, but we didn't get to see the right event. Time and Date still says
Why is
we got to see
freezing up on me?
a total.
I'm gonna let it load up a little bit. Not sure why I'm experiencing lag. I have fiber, which is like 50 megabytes download and upload. Yeah, so this eclipse, I've just been really looking into it, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Total lunar eclipse. So is this just an anomaly or a mistake by the globe model prediction? Even NASA got it wrong. This is what they predicted with their scientific visualization studio, which I want to point out there's nothing scientific about. And this is what NASA actually saw. A partial lunar eclipse. But surely this was just a one-off. Let's skip forward now 2 weeks, June 10th, 2021, to the annular solar eclipse, the ring of fire that so many people had been waiting for.
Now let's take a look at who's going to actually get to see this event on the morning of June 10th. And in particular, those of you that are going to be in the sweet spot for the Ring of Fire solar eclipse in Canada, Greenland, and Russia. Particularly in parts of Canada, Greenland, and Russia, the eclipse will be a much more impressive show and produce what is called a Ring of Fire solar eclipse. This specific type of solar eclipse occurs when the moon is just a little bit farther away from the Earth and doesn't quite cover up the entire surface of the sun as it does during a total solar eclipse.
Animation courtesy of NASA's pseudoscientific visualization studio. And you know it's true because a guy in a NASA shirt told you. And let's check this prediction from timeanddate.com. What we call the moon moving across the sun and creating the ring of fire. This is what we should have seen. But what did we actually see? This is from NASA videos, and this is the best they got. A partial solar eclipse. Again, another failed prediction. Why do ballers constantly tell us that the globe model is true? Because it can predict things like the eclipse. This is some more footage here from Ontario, Canada, where
That's
they
a
should
sun.
definitely have seen
It's
the
an
ring of fire.
eclipse.
But once again, this is all they got. So I'm challenging anyone to produce a picture or footage of the annular solar eclipse, the Ring of Fire, on 10th of June, 2021. Prove me wrong and prove your globe model right, because as it stands, your globe model is broken.
A solar eclipse happens when a new moon moves between the Earth and the Sun, blocking some or all of the Sun's rays from reaching the Earth. By cosmic chance, even though the Sun is 400 times wider than the Moon, it's also 400
Oh,
times
here we go.
farther away. Therefore, the two objects appear the same size in our sky.
This model has now been proven wrong.
Okay,
globally.
so I'm going to look up another one here.
Astronomers are able to predict eclipses because the Earth
Now that
and
I
Moon
found my
have very
history,
predictable
what I was doing
orbits.
right.
A total eclipse can only be
One
seen if you're
is-
standing within the umbral shadow.
Like kids.
That's why the imaginary line created by this shadow as it races across Earth
I used to pay $163 every month for car insurance.
Okay,
Now,
this
check out how much I'm paying.
channel's called the Potter's Clay.
$24. Most insurance companies are ripping
And
us
I
all
like
off.
that
The
name.
insurance giants don't want us to know that there's an
So
easier way to
I'm
get
gonna go
cheaper
ahead and
insurance. All you have to
subscribe
do is
this
go
one
here and get a quote in 2
too,
minutes.
and go to the
And if you vote
videos. And this one is called Does Lunar Eclipse Debunk the Ball? So
Why is that kid holding that ball? A fountain.
propaganda. Because it's hard to let go for some people of the ball. They were taught that all this was real and it was all a lie.
You want to watch?
Nope, I want to watch this video right here. 2 years ago. Looks like the globe may have eclipse problems is the name of the video. We are now going to apply common sense to what we've been taught regarding the solar and lunar eclipse. But let's first remember what we've been told. With the sun 93 million miles away, and the light hitting an object with a diameter of 2,159 miles, that's our moon, the shadow casts 238,900 miles away appears to be about 70 miles wide. Right? So this is according to NASA. There's the 70-mile wide. And I remember this eclipse. There's Oregon. Look, we're right there. If that is indeed how light works, and an object 2,159 miles wide casts a totally shadow of 70 miles wide from a distance of 238,900 miles away, then doesn't math alone tell us that if that same light was cast on an object roughly 4 times the size of the first object, which would be our Earth, that the shadow would only be another one that I might try to look that showed about shadows. No, there was one that talked about the penumbra and the umbra shadows. Oh, yeah. Here's NASA's Umbra Penumbra hoax. Mr. Thrive and Survive. All right. Mr.
We haven't done 10 minutes yet. Mom, did it pass 10 minutes?
What's going on in 10 minutes?
I said, hold on. I said, I said, you can turn off the water now. You're not done playing in the water? Well, let's come back. That's funny, Mom. Just stuff that off.
Very interesting. Hollow Earth?
What's a hollow?
I don't know. I haven't really looked into the Hollow Earth, but I'm sure there's tons of stuff under the earth. Under the ground. I think we all lived under the ground because it just kept the temperature better, and I just believe that was true.
There's a bunch of brick under the ground?
Yeah, there's lots of brick everywhere. Okay, NASA's hoax. You guys want to watch this last video with me, or are you going to go play?
This last video. This last video.
Okay. Oops.
Why are there two pots?
Where are you, NASA video? Let's see, how long ago was this?
So I actually did a test, and
It
what
doesn't tell you. You know, even when I look up the exact name of a flat earth video that I want to see, it doesn't pull it up. It's so hard. They literally algorithm these videos to not be found. But I'll find it. I'll find it. And then I'll like it. And then it'll be liked. And in
Mom, what's
my
NASA?
file. It's NASA stands for not a space agency. Not a space agency.
Hey, Mom.
What?
I left Jacqueline's rock here, Mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Whose rock? Jacqueline's. She brought a rock? Where did it?
NASA fails explained. Oh, here it is. Yay, NASA's Umbra Penumbra hoax. This is a great video here, people.
So I actually did a test. And what distance does the umbra and penumbra start to happen using our sun? Well, the answer is
It's a balloon. What? It's a balloon. Or four balloons.
I'm going to pause it for just a second. Oh, no, it's catching up. I think it's this OBS service that makes it glitchy.
What does that mean? OBS.
hey everybody, we're supposed to thrive and survive. This
web
video
sharing
is
or
going
the
to look
screen
at
sharing
the
thing.
science, and we're going to do science, actual real observations here to see if what NASA and mainstream scientists has been trying to sell us, and which has been universally accepted without question, is the umbra penumbra that is created by the sun, moon, and earth, depending on the type of eclipse you're looking at. And what we're going to be looking at here is, this comes from my Jupiter video. I'll have a link below to that, and maybe I'll put a card in the upper right-hand corner here. The idea that we have a 70-mile wide shadow caused by the moon supposedly blocking sunlight on the earth. Okay, I had to cut in here just to show the ridiculousness of the comparison between the two and how off the shadow really is on Jupiter. Let's look at this. This is are we seeing the whole half of the Earth? Who knows? Same thing with Jupiter, right? So let's look at this, and let's look at Lake Okeechobee over here. Lake Okeechobee in Florida is just under 30 miles, 39.85 miles wide. So it's, you double that, you get 80 miles. So you double this, that would be the shadow that the solar eclipse made across North America as it was going across. So let's take a look at that just real quickly. And we're going to compare that to Jupiter. So here it is, Lake Okeechobee. Sorry, it's not very clear here. But again, this is roughly 40 miles. It's almost a circular. It's a little bit more north-south than east-west. But we're going to go with 40 miles. And what I did was I did the math. If you multiply the width of this by 2.3, then you get 70 miles wide. So there's Lake Okeechobee. Forget about this outer circle. I was just using that for a different scale. We're going to use something better than that. And so what does that look like if we put that on the map? So at Lake Okeechobee, where this black spot is right here, the width of Florida is almost exactly 140 miles. It's like 139 point something. So I did that on Google Earth. Let me check that. Let's take a look at that. Here we go. You see this yellow line going across right here? I measured that. That's cutting straight across Lake Okeechobee in Florida. That's 139.33 miles. So that's 70 times 2 is 140. So we're not going to get much better than that as far as scale. So if we take half of this diameter across and make a ball out of it, we're going to end up with a 70-mile wide shadow. Hopefully everybody can agree on that. That's just simple. So that's what I did here. I took halfway across, and I know this is when it's on this kind of scale, it's not very circular. It's just, you're seeing the imperfections in the graphics. And but anyway, that is a 70-mile wide shadow that we would see on the Earth. So what does that look like if we zoom out, okay, and look at the whole disk? Let's take a look at that. All right, now I'm going to be able to show you the whole disk here. Here it is again. It's actually a little bit bigger than halfway across. So again, I'm going with the other side a little bit here. We're going to select this, and we're going to copy it and move it to around the middle of the country where it went through. So if we had a satellite picture like we had with Jupiter, what would that look like? There we go. Look at that. Little teeny little dot. Little teeny Rosanna Dana. Look at that. Now, let's compare that to Jupiter. Yeah, there's a little bit difference, huh? And, if we have to, well, let's do this. Let's look at the difference here. Now,
This isn't the
you're gonna say,
video.
oh, you're not showing all the Jupiter. Well, go look at my other video. And go to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory site that I left the link to, where you can see the entire disk. But let's compare Jupiter's size to the Earth. Here we go. Look at all these Earths that can fit into the side of Jupiter. All right. So how big would the speck be?
It's glitchy.
All right. There is no comparison.
He gets into the math here in just a little bit.
Only cognitive
Bear with
dissonance
me.
would allow
Bear with
you
this video.
to
Or go watch it for
destroy
yourself.
your own thinking here and say, oh, they're pretty much comparable, Rich. There's a little bit different angles.
This guy
and the
was...
oh, yeah. Umbra penumbra. Let's get into that, because this is the heart of the meat of the matter right here. Okay, back to the video that was sent to me. Now, granted, this is going to sound a little weird pulling in the
Mr.
Kennedy
Thrive and
assassination
Survive is
here.
the name of this guy.
But just think of the narrative that was given that people believed simply because they would not trust what their senses and logic told them. Now, I'm not going to show it, but almost everybody probably listening to this video, watching this video, has seen the assassination of Kennedy, where he was shot and his head went back into the left and the front right part of his head was blown off. And yet, because the government said that it was a lone assassin in the back, this guy right here, Lee Harvey Oswald, just because the government said that, most of the people believed it, and the CIA came up with the term conspiracy theory to degrade anyone who actually wanted to use their logic. You see, logic tells you that if your head goes back and to the left, that means you were shot in the front right. So there are some people that actually use their logic and were able to tell before the 2018 release of the CIA files that showed that, yes, indeed, there was an assassin in the front.
Molly.
And you can look that up. That was released by Trump, I believe, about a year ago. So, or 2 years ago. And there's still more to be released there also. What can our logic tell us about the umbra penumbra? Are we making an assumption that just like the Kennedy assassination, that what the government tells us, and NASA is most definitely an offshoot of the government, just because what NASA tells us it's true, even though do our senses tell us this? Do we just accept everything blindly, like 90% at least of the people did with Kennedy's assassination? Well, let's take a look at it real quick. All right, now I have to use a disclaimer. Do not use a local light that's inside the house or inside your garage or something like that. If I did that, I would be absolutely hammered without end. We don't need to use an artificial light. All we have to do is use the real sun. Here's the argument. It's always because the sun is larger, than the object that is blocking the sun, we get this umbra penumbra effect. And particularly the effect we get with the lunar eclipse, the solar eclipses. And we have the shadow, as you can see here, comes down to a point, and then it goes the other way. Totally ridiculous, but we're not going to get into that. I've gotten to that in other videos. Because what's ridiculous about it is at 93 million miles, the rays are virtually parallel and they do not spread out in space without an atmosphere. So that's not the argument here, though. But all you have to have is a larger sun and a smaller moon or a smaller blocking object.
Let's focus on the...
That is the whole thing. If you look up light physics, so to speak, with the sun and with the eclipses, they will always say, oh, if it's a larger object, like the sun, it's going to produce the umbra penumbra, just like we supposedly have with eclipses.
Lies.
Let's look at something local using the same sun that is used in eclipses. Now, this is simply a telephone pole that I shot earlier today. And in the next video, you're going to see how the shadow does. This was late in the afternoon, and you'll see how it does when it is very long in length. And this is the actual physics that we can actually prove ourselves in person. So let's take a look at it from a purely scientific and observational point of view. What do we have here? No matter what object we use on Earth, it's going to be smaller than the sun. So we've got a larger sun blocking any object that blocks it is going to be smaller. So we don't have to worry about having an object that's larger than the sun. And let's just say we had a blocking object that was located here. So here we have an object. And what if we were somewhere in here? What kind of shadow size should we see according to this diagram? Well, we should have something like that, right? Sounds logical. Because the argument is the further you're up in the cone, the larger the shadow that would be produced. That's why supposedly we have a 10,000 mile and greater shadow on Jupiter, because it's a little bit further up the cone. So what if we were further down here, let's say in here, what size shadow should we have there? Yeah, something like that, right? So the closer we get to this focal point, the smaller the shadow would be. And then, of course, when we come out on the other side, the further we get away from it, the larger the shadow should be also. Logical, right? Makes sense. So if we have an object that is blocking sunlight, it should have the properties of that should go down to almost nothing, and then we should see that shadow come back out larger again on the other side. The properties of that should go down to almost nothing, and then we should see that shadow come back out larger again on the other side.
And you can't replicate it. So they just want to tell you this is how it works.
That's just the way it is.
You're stupid.
That's what they're showing you. And that's the argument that they have for the umbra penumbra.
It literally is unprovable.
So let's take a look at some real life situations.
Ironic that people want to call you stupid for questioning things that are unprovable.
That we have things that are very
you don't understand
close to the
them.
surface.
Well,
we have clouds that are very high in the sky.
You understand them because they're
clouds that are low
literal
in the sky.
science fiction.
We have buildings. We have all kind of different things that are creating shadows. And again, as we cycle through these, I want you to tell me where we have an umbra penumbra on any one of these.
Never.
Do you see it? I mean, some of these at some height should have the shadow get smaller.
Yeah.
And then come back larger again. And we're going to look at the example I have of the light pole. And that is going to tell us exactly how light and shadow works with the sun when you have a larger sun that is blocking a smaller object. So you can go ahead and pause through these pictures if you want, but you're never going to see an umbra and penumbra. What you will see in some cases, like here, you see what I call shadow degradation, and we're going to talk about that. And that is exactly what we get. We do not get an umbra penumbra. So let's now go back to the light pole that I showed earlier, and you can do this yourself and see exactly how it works. Now I'm going to manually advance through this video. Here I am standing. I'm 6'3". You can see how low in the sky the sun was to produce a shadow this long. And here is the light pole that I showed earlier in this video. And what we're going to see is, as we get way out there, we're going to see how shadow degradation works. And I'll show you an example more close up how that works also. And this is something you need to go out and do yourself, and you can actually measure this out and see. First of all, measure the pole. And I'm just going to say the pole was 8 inches in diameter. I don't know what it really is, but we're just going to use that as an example. What you will find is the shadow will never be greater than 8 inches. Never. Now, what you will also notice is, and this is more, you can notice it with a ball or something like that. I'm going to show you a ball that I did in another video. The shadow, when it is very close to the object, has no degradation whatsoever. However, once it gets beyond 1 diameter greater distance than the object itself, you start to get a little bit of degradation. It does not happen when you're closer than that. For example, if this is 8 inches in diameter, the first 8 inches of this shadow will not have any degradation whatsoever. It'll be a nice, crisp, sharp shadow. No umbra, no penumbra. Then as you get farther and further, 2 diameters away, 3 diameters away, and on and so forth, you get more and more degradation as you go out. At about 1 diameter away, you get about a 1% degradation, roughly. So 1% of 8 inches would start to be degraded on the outside of the shadow. Now, as you walk this through, you will see that the size of the pole gets more and more narrow, apparently. It's the same diameter all the way up. But what happens is the shadow degrades to where there is no more shadow. The light starts filtering through. It's the only way I know how to say it. To where it just whittles us away to nothing. And it never then comes back with an umbra penumbra where you have another, where it comes back and gets larger again. Remember, this is the same sun that is used for solar eclipses, so it should work on any scale. It should not be different just because we're talking about
all right, guys.
smaller
Well,
object. In fact, we should be able to see it easier.
Anyways, I think you
because we don't have to have the great distances to make the ratio and proportion correct. So what you will notice is, let me see if I can show this here.
Oops.
Right about there. Let's see how much I can show here. It degrades so badly when you get out so far.
There we go. So anyways, folks, thanks for tuning in. I hope you had a wonderful day. Sorry if I didn't see any of the chat. So if anybody said hello, hi to you. And sorry I didn't chat with you, but I didn't have it set up. I just wanted to show these pictures quickly. I still got a few things to do with my dude today. And yeah, thanks again for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys later.